everyone, and welcome back to another video. A while back when I did some of my granny square pattern videos that I did with crocheted granny squares, I got some freebies with some of the granny squares that I ordered, and they were just kind of these tiny little puff flowers, and I've made these before. I have an idea of how to make puff flowers, and I have a lot of them just kind of laying around, but I was trying to think of cute little things to do with these, and I have a student that I work with that asked me to crochet her something for her birthday coming up in a few days, and I thought it would be perfect to use this with, but obviously I wanted to kind of make a whole video, so basically I'm just going to show you how to make the simplest, tiniest crochet flower. Obviously, if you're looking for something more 3D or whatever, you are more than welcome to go use whatever pattern you want, but I'm just going to show you the easiest form to create a very simple crocheted bookmark. You could also turn this into a card charm or anything of that nature, and I'm just going to try to keep this as simple as possible. It's also a great last minute gift idea that's still handmade, so let's get started. So I am going to be using this because I have it, but I'm also, again, going to show you a very basic flower pattern that I'm going to use with it. This is the closest matching yarn that I have to the interior of this guy here. And I'm also going to use a very pastel green to kind of create the stem of the flower that will become the bookmark. So let's get started. The quickest and I think simplest pattern I was able to find is a flower. It does not appear to have a center, but it is by Jonna Martinez. This is on YouTube, and I'll just link it here for you. It was a super quick 3-minute video, and much like many crochet projects, it's going to start with a slip knot here. And the way that I like to think about it is that instead of tying a knot with the loose end through it, I like to think of it as tying a knot with the other end. So instead of pushing this through the hole, I take this end that's looped and pull it through the hole. I don't know why, that just always kind of clicked easier in my brain for me. First things first is that we are going to chain 3, and I find, again, just what I like to do is I like to hold kind of with my I guess bottom 3 fingers, and then I kind of use my top 2 to kind of hold my pieces separate. I've got my hook in my right hand, my left hand is pulling the thread relatively taut. Tighten that up a little bit, and then I loop around and pull through 1, loop around and pull through 2, loop around and pull through 3, and we've got our 3 chains, 1, 2, 3 in our starting chain. And we are going to come back into this first chain here, this number 1 right by the knot, and I do believe that every petal is going to come out of that chain. So we're going to double crochet, which is, once again, you're going to loop around before inserting your yarn hook. So I've got 2 loops on here already before I ever insert, but then I'm going to insert, scoop again, pull back out, and now there's 3. And then we're going to pull through 2 at a time. So once that first pull through, that's 2 left, and pull through 2 again. Now from here, we're going to continue again with a second double crochet, loop around once, pull through, and pull back out so that we have our 3, pull through 2, and pull through 2. And this is going to be your very first petal. And then you are going to go back in with no yarn and simply pull it out through both loops immediately to create this petal shape, as you can see here, and that is called a slip stitch. Again, this is very, very introductory, very basic. And then I believe we're going into a chain 2. So now that we are kind of wrapped around into our first flower petal, we're again coming back, and we are going to chain 2 and then start the process over again. 1, 2, good, great, fine. Now again into that very same hole, which you can see it kind of down here, that first chain from our original chain. We are going to double crochet again. So wrap, enter, pull, and pull through 2, pull through 2, wrap, insert, pull through two, pull through two. So we've got our 2 double crochets again, and then we're going to slip stitch, so make sure there's only the 1 loop, pull through 1, pull through the other, and then you've got another little petal there, and you're just going to repeat that 3 more times. All right, here we are at the end of our final slip stitch. I'm going to actually pull the tail, which I did already cut, up through center and through my final loop as well, and tighten her up. So I'm just gonna fluff out these a touch. Ah, yeah, that's good. So super easy, super simple. And now it's time to actually worry about connecting. Now you could do this on both ends, but the thing is that you're going to need 2. You're going to need 1 on one end and 1 on the other end. My other one's going to be this one, and this will be my one end. And I will be keeping these tails added in here. I'm going to even them out a little bit so that we can tie it onto our last little bit here shortly. So let's head over to our green, and I'm going to show you how we're going to connect with these. This I'm keeping almost painfully simple. So again, I'm going to come through, create my slip knot, easy peasy, same way as before, and in the simplest way possible, wrap around. I tightened it too much. There we go, pull through. And I am just going to chain, chain, chain until I get to the length of a standard book, which is going to be about 8.5 inches. I'm going to maybe add an inch to that. So let's say 9.5, maybe almost 10 inches. And we're just going to plow through until we get there. All right, I brought my book out, shameless self-promo, for measurement purposes, and I did about 48 stitches, in case anyone wondered. I've got my tail on one side and I've got my loop on the other. Again, I'm going to just snip off a nice end here first, and then loop through and pull tight. So now I've got a snake on one end and a little snake on the other end. And of course, I think this is acrylic yarn. These are just scraps that I got from eBay, I believe. And they do give a little bit of a stretch too, so don't worry if it's not so perfect. If you gotta steam it, maybe you gotta steam it, but this is what this will look like. And we're going to start by going to one end, putting our crochet hook through the very last, wow, I can't even think of the word, stitch. And then I'm going to take one end of this knot, or these 2 ends that we left at the edge here for our flower. Pull that through one, and honestly, just for convenience, I'm going to go through the other side here. And, oops, I came in the wrong way. And I'm going to pull through the other end. Just to make sure she is very securely fashioned, like this. So you can see it's on kind of both sides of the stitch. And zooming in, I'm going to keep it nice and simple and tie a nice double knot so that girlfriend goes nowhere. One. And 2. That. Make sure everything is as tight as it can be. Snip. 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 And I usually do like to, depending on what material we have here, either a little bit of a flame to kind of melt it down, or just a dab of glue to make sure it's not going anywhere. But Here's how it'll look from the front. So it's a little stem on our flower. And you'll attach your flower on the other end in much the same way. Pull it through. And we are going to knot it as close as possible twice with our single knot here. So you can see now there's too much. You're gonna wanna pull so that it is as close to the stitching as we can manage. Like that. And again, you could kind of string this over maybe your rear view mirror in your car to kind of create it as a car charm, or in this case, all you do is whenever you get to chapter that you're on, flip that here. I really planned to actually flip to the correct page. And you'll just slip it through the middle and close your book. And that's essentially how it looks. It kind of dangles out of the top a little bit. Can lean it out like this. Honestly, fairly simple and pretty cute, all things considered. I like it. Yay! That is all I had for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, feel free to like and subscribe. I try my hardest to put content out on Sundays at noon Eastern Standard Time, but I've been a little bit less consistent as of late. But if you want to see what I put out whenever I put it out, feel free to subscribe, and I will, of course, always try my best to make sure that there's new content coming out to you semi-regularly. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!